Al, we got a big week next week. A
Yeah,
big
we
episode
do.
next week, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
And a big week as well, if you want to go that route. But before we get to that,
Mm-hmm.
we got some stuff to talk about. We got to bring out ye old grab a bag
Let's do it.
and talk about some video games.
I already threw away the bag that I had.
It's a shame.
Sorry.
It's
Max
fine.
tore it to pieces.
That's also not surprising. Hello, welcome to this week's episode of the Seasonal Anime Checkup OVA. It's a podcast where we have conversations about video games, anime, and manga. Hello, I'm Jared, joined as always by Doc, Al, and Ladium.
Hello.
We're going to talk about some video games today. Some video games we played recently. That's
Yeah.
usually how these episodes go.
Sometimes.
You know the gist by now.
You know the drill.
We have, 3 games we're going to talk about?
Yeah.
Something like that?
One we played together, and then two that
2
you
that
played.
I've played, yes. Yeah, so let's talk about some video games. Man, did you see that beach house I bought? It's real nice.
It is real nice. I agree with
It's
you.
real nice.
It's real nice.
Very happy. I'm very happy I stayed up till 6 in the morning to do that.
Oh my god! I didn't know you stayed up that late to do that.
That's when the patch dropped. They released the patch on time because they didn't want to release it early and give people an unfair advantage to get housing, because housing is a you know what, an MFer, as some might say, in that game.
You mean
So,
just like real life?
honestly, yes. So I remember I logged out right before the patch. They put maintenance up, and I was like, all right, I gotta log in immediately when I get a 6. Like as soon as it's 6, I gotta hit login and everything. Had to wait through a 160 person queue, and then ran towards my first option, which was in the first division, and someone was already there, and I was like, F-. So I ran back, went to the subdivision, and then saw no one was there, and I was like, okay, cool, I'm just gonna get this one. It's fine. Yeah, I got the nice beachfront property.
You got it really nice.
It's got a nice umbrella in front of the house. There's that little shelter area where you can drink tea, because there's a table and there's tea already on there.
Ooh.
You just sit there and watch them waves. Just vibe.
Can
Big
you
vibes.
fish?
Not in that area, no.
Boo!
It'd be cool if you could. Also, it is hilarious because the area that I'm in is the very Asian area that they made for Stormblood.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone's house is very Asian influence, and then I just have this chocobo house. I just stick out like a sore thumb.
Oh man, the homeowners association's gonna get you.
It's true.
They're like,
But
you need to repaint your house.
No, it's a bird. Hush. But it was kind of fun seeing everyone scrambling just to be oh god, I gotta get this house, and it's seeing all these I think in 10 minutes all the houses were taken in my subdivision.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah. People spending a lot of money.
Oh, I believe it.
Because small houses are $3.5 million. Mine was a little bit cheaper because I had relocation and they cut off some money for that. But mediums are 20 mil. Larges are 40 mil. It's a lot.
Ooh.
Anyways, I bought a beach house in Final Fantasy 14, or I relocated to a beach house, and it's very nice, and I'm very happy with it.
Yay.
Big vibes.
Yay.
I also bought a nice little deck that they put out just for this patch. So that's new, and it's you get a nice overlook of the water, and also there's I bought a fire brick oven that makes pizzas. That just sits outside my house now. And I'm this is cool.
I like pizza.
Just come hang out, get a pizza, and then you can just stand on the deck and chill and have some vibes.
How about that?
The worst part though is when you relocate your house,
Mm-hmm.
it throws everything into storage.
Oh no.
So I have to redecorate my house now, and I'm that's I'm not looking forward to doing that.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's gonna be a bummer. That's gonna be a big project, but I'll do that eventually. Anyways, let's talk about some video games,
Let's do it.
not housing related things. I've been playing some games recently that have come out recently, so I've been playing them recently.
Yeah, recently.
Yes. Games that are very different, but also interesting. Hades finally came out of early access last month. And that game has been the talk of the town lately in the world of video games. Hades is the new roguelike from Supergiant, the makers of Bastion, of Transistor, of Pyre. So if you play those games, you kind of know the quality of gameplay and everything that they bring to the table is in this thing. This game is very good, like real good. In just terms of everything, from art design, from characters, from music, from gameplay and everything, it's all just real good. And it's interesting because like roguelikes are not known for having like big elaborate stories,
Right.
and this has a big elaborate story.
Nice.
So like, obviously you're doing runs and everything, but like once you come back, you get to talk to everyone. They'll have new dialogue for you. There's like supposedly just like a ton of dialogue in this game where like people have done like hundreds of runs and like not seen a character repeat dialogue,
Wow.
which is wild to think. But yeah, like it gives you a good incentive to like keep doing runs and everything because you're like, oh, I want to see what's happening with these characters. I want to hear more about like the story that they're telling and everything, compared to like other roguelikes where it's just like, well, I just want to keep doing these runs because I like playing this game essentially. So I think it brings like a new element to this genre in particular in a way that like I haven't really seen before.
Mm-hmm.
Also, this game's very much about Greek mythology.
Yes.
Very much about that. You play Zagreus, who is the son of Hades, and you're basically trying to get out of the underworld, make it to Olympus, and hang out with all them folks. That's the basic gist of the game. So like, all of the Greek gods and the Olympians and all that sort of stuff, they'll like help you on your runs. They'll give you like specific powers that are kind of like related to them and all that sort of stuff, and also like talk to you about like, oh, I remember when your dad did this, and we hang out, and all this sort of stuff, and it'd be cool if you got to hang out with us up here. It'd be real neat and everything. Ho, 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 ho.
Does Zeus ever try and seduce you?
No.
That's surprising.
But I mean, he's. I think there's like one line of dialogue he has where it's like, "You've heard stuff about me, right? Half of that stuff's not true, though. Don't worry about that."
Say it's true.
It most likely is.
Yeah, Zeus liked to bang. He liked to bang a lot, and basically anything that moved.
So basically, you gotta you see a bunch of them. You see a bunch of characters down in the underworld. You get to hang out with like, you hang around with. Obviously, Hades is there. He has a big like just desk and just like has to deal with things. He's just like, I don't like you. I don't like how you're trying to leave. Stop being a jerk. Stop being dumb. You hang out with Achilles. He's just there, and he's just like, "Hey, I'm gonna teach you about combat stuff and all this sort and all that jazz." Nyx is around, just being shady, as you do.
As you do.
Eventually, you run into Thanatos, who's like your bro. You eventually rescue Orpheus, who is the court musician. And this game also was like, man, there's a lot of... Persona 3 was really into Greek mythology, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Very much into it. I mean, like the first area you have to escape from is Tartarus.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of the reason why Persona 3 was my favorite is because there's so many like Greek references in it. And like some of them are very, very well done. Like I told you about the Shinji and Akihiko one that I love. But yeah, I'm a big fan of Greek mythology. So yeah, Persona 3 is just chock full of them.
Yeah, but you like the 4 places you have to go through are like Tartarus, Asphodel, Elysium, and then the Temple of Styx, and eventually you reach the surface, and that's where you fight the final boss. Yeah, it's a run-based game. It's very good. I haven't played it a lot like recently because I finally got a run. I finally beat it, quote unquote. I finished a run, I should say. But like there's also like, even if you finish a run, there's like incentive to be like, okay, well now you have to keep doing it to unlock more of the story and figure out what's exactly going on. I think you have to do like 10 runs in total to get credits. But even then, like you're still like upgrading your character and everything. You're like, you're boosting your weapons, doing all that sort of stuff. So we're like, you're going to become more powerful and more powerful as you keep doing runs and everything. So like, it's not like it's a monumental task to do that really. But yeah, I felt really good when I did that run because like I got like a real weird build that I was not very sure about at first. That like there's like so essentially in the game you have like two different attacks. Like one's like a light and then one is a heavy, and then you have like this thing you can shoot out that like usually it would like go into an enemy and you can like get more damage once it's in the enemy, and then you'll just have to like go and grab it again to make sure you keep it. Like I got like a boon immediately when I started this run that like made that like that little thing you shoot out, like it became like just a laser that hones in on enemies, and like I could just like throw that out and just like do damage like that. And then also I was using the gun, which um eventually I was able to level up to where like I can get infinite ammo, but like it
Ooh.
does 3 round bursts. And then also I had a thing where like the heavy attack I had was like very like buffed up. The only like counterpart was is like if I'm in the radius where it's going to hit, I will take damage as well.
Oh, I don't like that.
But like it totally works. Cause like it's not like something I could like. It's not a super fast attack where like if you throw it and then you're in that area, you're immediately gonna get hit. Like you have enough time to like dodge out and everything. But like it was enough to where like I was able to like cruise through the first 3 bosses or 3 or 4 bosses, I think. And then eventually made it to the final boss, and like because I had made it to the final boss a couple of times before this and like just hadn't really found like the rhythm I needed or had like the right build, and just like died. But this time it was like the way this build was like set up, it forced me to play real patiently,
Mm-hmm.
to where like I would just have to be like, okay, I'm just gonna just throw out these lasers, shoot off my heavy attack, and just like just be out of range in order to just do all this damage and everything. And it totally worked, and I was able to beat the final boss and see what the story was going to tell me. And then yeah, it was a very good feeling though. I was real happy about that. Um, so yeah, like I know eventually I need to go back and play through it again and get back into that rhythm of playing it and everything. But like it is very very good. Um, like I don't think there's not a whole lot you can say that like is bad about this game. It's just incredibly good, especially for a game that's been in early access for like 2 years now.
Wow, I didn't
Um,
realize it was that long.
mm-hmm. So it's clearly they've done a lot of good work to this game, and like it just really shows. Um, Perhaps like one of the weirdest things about this game is that it's voice acted and everything. All the voice actors are just like people on the development team, and they're all really good.
That's pretty cool.
It's wild. So yeah, Hades is great. Um, I'm excited to play more of that eventually when I decide I want to play more of that. And then maybe hopefully get to see credits in that game. I don't know. We'll see. There's another game that came out recently that I've been playing a lot of that I'm not as a little bit more perplexed about, and that's a game called Super Mario Bros. 35.
You've been playing a lot of this lately.
I have been playing a lot of it. You're correct. I don't think this is a good game though. It's a very weird and peculiar game. It's a free game you can get right now that they released at the beginning of October, and then they're gonna take it away at the end of March next year. Maybe, who knows? They may just do a thing like, oh, we've heard you, and we're gonna keep this up longer, like that sort of thing. This is a battle royale Super Mario Bros. Game, kind of. It's more in the line of like what Tetris 99 was, where you're playing a game and then you're sending off junk to other players. Players will send junk to you and everything. Junk being in this case like you just get more enemies on your screen that you have to deal with and everything. Only 35 other players, which is a little bit weird for a battle royale game. It's a very small player count.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a very weird game.
So when they first announced this,
Yes.
I saw it and I was like, there is no way I will play that.
Yeah.
I have not played it at all. So that is valid. I just I don't play Mario games to be like competitive.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it's kind of weird. Like the only Mario games I play to be competitive are Mario Kart, and that is only when there is Celine Dion in the background or Mambo number 5.
That's true. It's weird because like you would think that this is a very competitive game because like it's a battle royale game and everything, but like it's hard to influence the other player's games
Yeah.
in a way that like is actually like beneficial to you. Because like obviously you're gonna send a lot of just like enemies at them, but like there are ways to counteract that are just like that can just be very overpowered. Like as long as you have a fire flower, you can basically cruise through enemies. As long as you have a star, you can cruise through enemies. All that sort of stuff. Like the ways that you kind of make it more competitive is by essentially playing aggressively, which is like something that I've kind of figured out, by playing this game more and more. Is that like if you and like it has like the same kind of system that Tetris 99 did, where like you'll be able to you can knock out other players, but like a lot of times when you like knock out another player, it does not feel like you actually did anything. It's just like, oh, I sent an enemy to them.
Yeah.
Like it's not really, I didn't really influence that or anything. It's mostly like if you're going to fail in this game, it is 99% of the time it's going to be on you. It's going to be you falling into a pit, missing a jump or something like that, or just there are rare times where you would get overwhelmed by enemies. Like that is completely the thing, but like it is not the most like reoccurring aspect of this game.
That picture you posted recently gave me anxiety.
That was not fun.
That gave me so much anxiety. It was like, oh God, they're everywhere.
So yeah, like that's one of the ways that like you can play aggressively in this game. Is that like once you get to like 1-2 and you get to the warp zone, which does not take you to like a different world like it does in regular Mario Brothers, it basically takes you to a specific level, like 3 specific levels that will be like there, and like you can pick and choose what you want to do. So like if you get to that level and you're like, well, I want to try and really mess with some people. That's when you're like, okay, well, maybe 3 ones there, and I can send them some Hammer Brothers. Maybe 4 ones there, and I can send them a Lakitu or something like that. Or, if there's a castle stage, I can send them a Bowser, something of that nature.
Or a blooper.
Or if you get a water level, which do you really want to go to a water level?
No.
So like, there are ways you can like kind of be more aggressive and like try and take out players in that kind of aspect. But again, it's not something like, oh, if I'm guaranteed to do this if I go to this level. Like that's not really the case here.
Right.
So yeah, the gameplay is a little weird as well because like the physics are not 1-to-1 with Mario Brothers 1, but also like apparently the team at Arica who made this, essentially I think they said they had to like rebuild this game from scratch. Like rebuild Mario Brothers from scratch to have it work with the way they're creating this game.
Not surprised by that.
So like that's why this is not like a 1-to-1 recreation of Super Mario Brothers. Still weird that like they got Arica to do this because Arica did Tetris 99. And they have basically a big pedigree in doing Tetris because they made the Tetris to Grandmaster like arcade games, which are like very hyper specific, super like expert level Tetris games that like the high end players will do. They're also the people who made the Street Fighter EX series, which is again 2 things that you look at and are like, Mario Brothers.
They should definitely make a Mario game.
Yeah, I mean they had the tech to make one of these kinds of games, so like it makes sense. But again, it is not what you would expect as well. But also, it was very kind of suspicious coming out of like like a year or 2 ago, Nintendo shut down a fan-made Mario Battle Royale game.
Right.
So it's not something that like people look at like, oh yeah, Nintendo really did this out of the well-being and niceness of their hearts and everything.
No, Nintendo doesn't do things out of the niceness of their hearts.
No. I will say the one interesting thing about this game is that like you play through a lot of like the beginning levels over and 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 over again. So like in a weird way, it makes you a better Super Mario Brothers player. Like obviously you can't recreate going back to regular Super Mario Brothers is a little bit weird because like the physics are not the same, but you still will be able to kind of like where to jump, where all like the bonus items are and everything. So like you can cruise through levels pretty easily. Like it makes a good kind of just like it gives you the skills to go back to that original game and kind of be like fairly competent at it in a way that you might not have been before, which is actually like a fairly interesting thing to put in here.
So I have a specific question for you.
Yes.
Why do you think that it is a bad game?
It's just I think because you play through like those beginning levels too much.
Mm-hmm.
For a battle royale game, it is not like super dependent on you being like the person being aggressive and being the one that influences if you win or not. It's most, like I said, it's mostly down to is my opponent going to make a mistake or not, or am I going to make a mistake or not?
Mm-hmm.
Like it feels very like the antithesis of like a battle royale game. Um, and then there's a lot of like weird things from like Tetris 99 that they don't have in here, like where like if you knock out a bunch of people, like you'll be able to like you'll have like I think you'll be powered up a little bit, but also like people will be able to kind of like hone in on you specifically, and like that's not really a thing here. Like there's a thing where like, oh, if you have the most coins, people could hone in on you, but like you really don't want to do that because you'd rather have people like who are attacking you, because like that's the way you will be able to get more enemies to bump up your time more. And then there's also like a specific aspect of like the end game is too long in this game. Like that is the end game is bad in this game. Because a lot of the times when you get down to like the final five, it's people who are good at this game.
Yeah.
So like it's just gonna it takes way too long, and then like they'll try and compensate for that by like making the timer speed up for you.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, like it just does not feel like, oh well, I lost because my enemy or my opponent was better than me or anything. It was just, oh, I ran out of time because the timer sped up and we were just at a stalemate for like 5 minutes, and that's not really like that doesn't feel satisfying
Right. No, you're
as a way
right.
to lose or anything. But yeah, like
It's like a timeout in a fighting game. Those don't feel good.
yeah. So yeah, like there's just a lot of repetition between like the early levels. The end game isn't great. And also like this is just Super Mario Brothers 1. So like there's not a whole lot of variety in these levels. It kind of does expose that like there's some of the level design in Super Mario Brothers 1 isn't great. Like 1-3 is a bad level. Like
I
no
mean,
one
which one
should
is
be
the
one. So 1-1 is obviously 1-1. 1-2 is the underground level. 1-3 is the one that has like more platforming where like you're kind of like going up and down elevation like on these like little tree or ground looking platforms.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I always skip it because I go to the warp.
Yeah, it sucks. It's a terrible level. Yeah, like it exposes a little bit of that, and also like yeah, I think it would be interesting if they added in like Lost Levels worlds or original SMB2 levels or just like other kinds of Mario. But then again, this is a limited time only thing, so I don't expect them to put that much work into this.
Right.
So yeah, and it also like if you win or like the way you level up is just you have a level, and the only thing you get from that is just icons.
That's it.
That's it. You get coins as well that you can use to like get a power up immediately, but like I currently have 67,000 coins, so like I never have to worry about that. I've also prestige essentially, where I've gotten past level 99, and like all that does is add a star to your name or next to your level number. So like it doesn't really give you a whole lot for like being good at this game. And like let me tell you, I have 45 wins in this game. But this game doesn't make me feel like I've got 45 wins in this game because like I don't have anything really cool to like showcase for that.
Right.
So yeah, it's a weird thing. Like I've played a lot of it, obviously.
Yeah.
And like I will enjoy my time playing it because like it does give you some of that competitive edge or like that competitive feeling and everything when you're playing it, and at times it doesn't. But like also, I think as an overall package, this isn't good. So like this is a game I like to play, but it's not a good game. It's hard to recommend to people just because like I don't know. It's like I said, it's a very bizarre thing, and like it kind of makes sense why this is a limited time only thing.
I mean, it still sucks, but
100%, yes, I will completely agree with you on that. But like considering why they said, hey, we're gonna make this limited thing, like in the way this thing has come out, like I guess the word I should say is like I'm not surprised that this is that would be their decision.
yeah, that's valid.
Yeah, maybe they'll do something in the next 6 months to make this a little bit more interesting, but I doubt it. but it would at least be kind of cool to see like some just other levels, so you're not playing the same levels over and over again. Man, I've played a lot of 1-1. More than in my entire lifetime.
I mean, my mom asked you about 8-1 the other day, so maybe you could get an update and get an 8-1 in there. And
I mean, it's possible that you can play all the levels. You can go
really?
play 8-4,
Oh man.
but it's not going to give you any benefit if you
Yeah.
beat 8-4. It's just, hey, you beat another level. Go to this next level.
Yay.
Yeah. Mario Bros. 35, it's weird. I think that's the key thing to take away from this.
Yeah, I can see that. Like I said, I still won't play it. I didn't play Tetris 99 either. It's just not my kind of thing.
Yeah. I guess another thing that, like, Tetris 99 obviously had like a lot of updates and everything where they gave you like themes and all that sort of stuff.
Xenoblade.
And then they added in like private matches to where like you can play with like friends or just like people online that you know. None of that's in here.
Oh, that's lame.
So like the only options you have are like you just play the normal game mode, which is the 35 stuff, or sometimes they'll have like these special events up that'll be like, oh, we go to harder levels or something like that. And those are your only options. Or you could do course practice where you just, I guess, play Super Mario Brothers. Sure, I don't know.
Yay!
Yeah, but yeah, this is a weird game.
I mean, it sounds like it.
I mean, I was very contemplative about it for like 2 weeks or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, you've said multiple times like I don't know if I like this game or not. I don't know if this is a good game or not. And I'm like, well, you're still playing it.
Yep.
But sounds like you have come to your decision.
Yeah, it's not a good game. It's not a bad game. It's just not good.
Yeah, I mean, like,
but I can enjoy playing it.
Saying things are not good doesn't automatically make them bad. They can also just be okay.
Mm-hmm. That's entirely true.
We're not like the weird rating systems where like if you get a 7 on a game, then it's automatically the worst trash you've ever played in your entire life. Ugh.
No, for us it's an 8.
Oh yeah, true. I mean, how dare you go below a 9?
If you don't score a 9.9 or above, you're a failure.
Failure. The worst game I've ever played. Practically unplayable. Yes, I'm making fun of people. Anyway, you want to talk about the other game we played?
Oh boy.
Yeah, so I don't even remember how I came across this game.
All I remember is that like we were just talking like normal, and then eventually you're just like, "Hey, I found this." And I was like, "What? Excuse me?"
I really don't remember how I came across it, but I found it. I was like, "Oh my god, we have to play this. We have to play this." And it is a pay whatever you want game.
Mm-hmm.
So you can technically get it for free. I think I threw in like $3 or something. I don't remember exactly. But I felt bad. I didn't want to like just go free on it. Because somebody obviously put a lot of time into this game.
Yeah.
So I found this game and I played through it, and Jared watched, and we played through Joestar Struck, which is an Atome game where you date some of the Joestars and Joestar adjacent people from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's all very true.
Yep. So your dateables are Jonathan, Young Joseph, Jotaro, and Josuke. And yeah, you are in high school at a delinquent high school. I forget the name of the delinquent high school, but I can probably look it up. And yeah, you date Joestars. Let's see. Uniku? I don't know what that means. I'm sure it means something. Let's see if translate will tell me what that means.
Translate.
Does it really mean beef? There's no way that means beef.
Beef.
Yeah, okay. That's what everything's saying. So I guess it's just a beefy high school.
Beef. I mean, there's a lot of beef in that school.
There's a
for
lot
sure.
of beef in that school. So yeah, I forget what made the heroine or the main character, you don't have to be a lady, uh transfer to that school. Did we named her something stupid, didn't we?
Yes.
What do we name her?
I don't. Butts.
Probably
Something like
Butt.
that.
I think it was Butt. But yeah, she got into some Fresh Prince of Bel-Air kind of shenanigans and ended up at this high school. And so when you on your first day, you are given a tour by one Josuke, which it looks like somebody. I think they redrew a lot of the art here. Some of it, like some of the straight on sprites look like they tried to imitate the anime style.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you are introduced to Josuke. He's giving you a tour of the school. And depending on your choices, you end up on all kinds of different routes, which I already told you which routes there are. Joseph is trying to find his BFF Caesar, which that's a funny thing. They're racing turtles at one point. Josuke falls asleep on the roof at one point.
Yes, you do.
Which you thought he did something else, and I don't remember what it was, but it was funny. Jonathan is your teacher, which and Jotaro is a shut-in.
Yep.
So I think we did the Josuke route first.
Yeah.
Partially because it was the easiest one to get on. But yeah, you end up hanging out with Josuke, getting to know him, find out that he's a real swell fella, but also is not good at school. And there's an upcoming beach trip for the class that he will not get to go on because his grades are terrible. And so y'all decide to go on a mission to change the grades.
Stealth mission.
I think it even has the trope of oh man, we gotta push it against each other on the wall so that no one sees us. I'm like, oh man, that's such an Otome trope. I love this. You have to figure out what Jonathan's password is. It is not password.
No, it is not.
One of the things that's funny about the school, and you pointed out several times, is that the windows are just huge. And sometimes it looks like the characters are coming in through the windows.
Yeah.
We're like, well, I guess that explains why the windows are so big, but goodness. But yeah, the windows are just massive and, I guess good for sneaking in to change your grades. But they can't change the grade because they can't figure out the password. But it makes Josuke realize that he has feelings for the main character.
Feelings.
You get to go to his room, which his room has a lot of good Diamond is Unbreakable references in it. He's got a Killer Queen poster, I'm pretty sure, and he's got the symbols for Okuyasu's outfit on his area. He's got all kinds of really neat references. I was like, I know what all those are. I think you also get to do you hang out in an inflatable pool in his backyard.
Yep.
Yeah. have some drinks his mom gives you, uh, which is really funny. Um, the CG art is not as good as the like sprite art. Um, but I mean, like that's fine. It gets the idea across
Mhm.
of what's happening. So that was our first foray into dating the Joestars was Josuke. Um, and then I think I decided to go for Joseph. I was originally going to go for Joseph to begin with, and then we ended up on Josuke. So I was like, this is fine. He's a best boy, so this is
Yeah,
great.
and it was also like easy to get on his route as well because like it was just basically like which of these two do you want to choose first?
Yeah. Because like you meet Joseph when Josuke's giving you the tour,
Mhm.
and Joseph basically just like starts hitting on you immediately, basically.
Yep.
Which, like, yeah, valid. Like I said, he's trying to find Caesar so they can do a turtle race outside. Um, he doesn't come to class very often, and but is apparently still pretty good at school. And Caesar's always like, yeah, about that. He just doesn't come
He just
sometimes.
he does his thing.
Um, one day he does come though, and he's like, "Hey, let's go get burgers."
Boys.
And so you get in his car and you get to go get some greasy burgers and fries with him, and I think you get a milkshake. And then he's like, "Hey, let's go for a drive. Let's go out to this hill that I know." And this is where you get to like have a heart to heart with him
Mm-hmm.
and learn a little bit more about who Joseph Joestar is.
This version, at least.
Yeah, and one of the best parts is that like he tells you that he just often just yells from the top of this hill, and so you have a choice of things you can yell. And one of them is just yell about capitalism.
Yep.
I was like, "Yep, that one, that one. We're picking that. We're gonna yell about capitalism."
Solid choice.
I mean, it's really the only choice.
It's true.
So yeah, you get to yell about capitalism with Joseph Joestar, which, man, is that a sentence you ever thought you would hear on this podcast?
Nope.
Yeah, same. But here we are. Get to do the beach trip with him. He gets to go on the beach trip. He
So when this came up,
yeah.
my brain was like, they are going to make Joseph be the one who shows up in a Speedo. And then Joseph shows up and like immediately it's like, oh, of course, there he is.
Yep.
Wear the Speedo. And I was like, yep, that's exactly what they were gonna do. And
Wearing...
you're like, oh my gosh.
Wearing a Speedo with like the arms behind his head posing and everything. It was like just shredded. I did not expect it.
I 100% expected it.
But I also like, yeah, if anyone would out of this crew, it'd be him. Mm-hmm. If anyone would, it would be him.
Mm-hmm.
I think Caesar like yells at him about it. Also, he just like leaves his clothes, like he's running to the beach and just throwing his clothes behind him.
You know, as you do.
Which also Joseph would do.
100%.
And yeah, so you get to hang out with this wild boy, and he's trying to figure out what he wants to do with his life and all. It was fun. It was a fun route. Even though he is not my favorite, I think my favorite route was actually Jotaro's.
It was definitely interesting because like it doesn't go how you would expect, I think.
No, it doesn't. So you're introduced to his route by having to take schoolwork over to his house because, like we said, he is a shut-in. So the man just like opens his door in his like paint top and is like staring at you.
What?
You're like, "Hey, I am your classmate, but here's your schoolwork. Nice to meet you." And he just shuts the door in your face. You're like, wow, he's not very friendly. Okay, moving on. And then you're going to school the next day, and you see a girl walking by the house. And I think she's like yelling at him or something. I don't remember what it is. But if you figure out, like, oh, hey, she must be related to him somehow. And so you like go and try and chat her up. And turns out that it is Jolene.
Just a little weird.
A little weird because they're like, oh, hey, this is his little sister. And I'm like,
Yeah.
but it was a nice way to like work her in as a reference. That was pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Jolene's there. It's like, yeah, that's my brother. That's just how he is. What of it? So our spunky main character was like, hey, you know what? I am going to figure out a way to get into the world of Jotaro. Um, and so like she at one point is like looking through the window and sees him like doing Jolene's hair. It's like, oh, that's really cute. Um, and she learns like, oh, he just doesn't go to school. Like he's a very smart person and does great on all of his assignments. He just doesn't go.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, that sounds like Jotaro. Like the dude has a PhD. Like he's obviously an intelligent person. I mean, there are people I know that have a PhD that are not very intelligent, but anyway, you know, he probably has the chops. We'll put it that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's Jotaro. I could see him being like, I don't need to be there. I got all this stuff figured out. I know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
God. So yeah, she like at one point goes to the house and is like talking to him and gives him his stuff, and he also has lots of Stardust Crusaders references in his room, and also like what's the part with Jolene?
Stone Ocean?
Yeah, I think there's a reference in that one in his room to that too. But like she says something about like being into the ocean and all, and he's like, no, I'm into marine biology. I like the life that's in the ocean, not the ocean itself. And it was fantastic. He just like, no, I like dolphins, not ocean water. He obviously didn't put it like that, but it was
should have.
It was basically that.
Should have.
So he's got like all kinds of oceany stuff in his room, which is a nice touch. And he also just like walks off at one point. He's like, I'm gonna go take a shower, and like she's like, do I just leave, or he just
what do I do?
So that was funny. But yeah, she's trying to like figure out how to get closer to him. At one point, like I forget how it comes up, but she's at school and Kakyoin's like, yeah, so that's just how he is. He doesn't really come, but like you should really hang out with him. You should do that.
He's an all right guy.
Wink, wink. Which kind of cool that Kakyoin just show up. Like that was a nice little touch. Glad that he didn't do anything weird with Cherry. But yeah, she's obviously intrigued by him. And once the beach trip comes up, she's like, hey, you should come to the beach trip. You should come hang out with me. And he's like, mm-mm, mm-mm. Which you'd think he'd be like, ocean. But she gets on the like bus to the beach trip, and she's like, oh, he's not here. Oh no, he's not gonna make it. I'm sad. So she's at the beach and she's moping, and I think Joseph runs by in his Speedo.
Because of course.
Yeah. And Jotaro shows up. And he's you know, there and ready to be at the beach. Doesn't he have like a dolphin inflatable?
I think so.
Yeah. And he just like goes to the water and is like looking for life. He's like, hey, I'm just like looking through the.
I'm gonna study here.
And looking for this thing in the sand. Look at this. I found this. It's alive. Isn't that cool? um, but I think that's when she's like, "Oh my God, he must like me because he came to the school trip and he doesn't go to school trips and he came for me." So yeah, you get to date Jotaro. Get him out of his room into the ocean. So
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say so we can find something alive in the sand and get excited.
The last thing you get to do with him is you get to go to the aquarium. And he's like very excited,
Oh,
and also you see you go there and like the staff just know who he is.
Right, I forgot about the aquarium. You go on a date with him to the aquarium. The staff are just like, "Oh hey, what's up? You're here. Like, hey,
You have someone with you this time."
This critter's been real excited to see you." And she's like,
"Yay!"
I don't know where to start. And he's like, "Oh, I know where to start.
I got you.
I'm going to walk you through everything, and I'm going to tell you who they are and what they're doing. Like, you got to go see my favorite." And I forgot what his favorite was. Was it like a... What are those things called?
What are those things called? Things that live in the ocean for 500.
For some reason, I want to say it's a beluga whale, but I don't think that's true. I don't think that's his favorite. But anyway, I want it to be his favorite, so now it is. Anyway, so yeah, that's how you get your, like, oh hey, this is your cute romance moment with Jotaro. Is he takes you to the aquarium on a date and introduces you to all his favorite critters.
His fish friends.
His fish friends. His only friends are fish and Kakyoin.
You also forgot another big key component about this route.
Oh no!
The flower baby.
I did forget the flower baby. How could I forget the flower baby? Man, so yeah, one time Jotaro does come to class and you're in like a life sciences type class and teacher's like, "All right, I'm going to group you guys together and you're going to have a flower baby and we're going to raise the baby." Oh, wow, amazing. Butt and Jotaro are together. Here's your flower child. And he like draws a stupid face with a cigarette on the baby's face. She's
very good.
Okay. They do a terrible job with this flower baby. Like, I think immediately she drops it. And
he's just like, eh.
Yeah, he does not care at all. Which, given what we know about him in parenting, yeah. Seems about right.
Not surprising.
But yeah, he does not care about this flower baby, and they're like basically at failure. Because their child ends up losing all the flower.
Yeah. They have to like get extra credit to even pass because they've messed up so badly.
Yes. Oh, I forgot all about the flower baby. Thanks for bringing that up.
Hey, that's what I'm here for. Also, you get a chance to name the baby, and I was like, well, let's just name it Butt2.
Butt2.
But then we went with like Jotaro's pick, which I don't remember what it was, but
yeah,
it was not Butt2.
He didn't like Butts2.
Because he's not a man of taste.
It's true.
Man of class.
We had to go with Jotaro's baby name because otherwise he wouldn't like us, and we wanted him to like us.
Yes.
And then we started Jonathan's route.
Yes, and the whole time you were just like, I don't want to do this. So like we started it, and then I was just like, what if we just don't do this?
You're like, you realize we don't have to do this, right? And I was like, oh, you're right, we don't. Because like we've mentioned it several times on the podcast. One of my most hated tropes in anything is like date your teacher tropes. I hate it. I think it's gross. I think it's terrible. Like power dynamics are just completely off. I've been a teacher and I'm like, no. No. That's grody. No. Have fun listening to that later.
Yeah.
But I hate it so much. Like it's just creepy and it's inappropriate. And so like we got through I think maybe a day of Jonathan's and you said
It's like
like
we were real early in,
yeah, and you're like,
and
you
like
know,
you were
you
obviously not
really
having a good time. So I was like, we don't have to do this.
well the rest of them were fun.
Well, yeah, obviously, but like I knew obviously you were not going to like this,
Yeah.
and like even if like the entire content was good, like it's gonna have just a weird tropiness to it. So I was like, we can just hit the eject button whenever you want.
And so we did. Which Jonathan does have massive thighs.
I mean, they're all jacked.
They're all jacked,
They're all
but
real jacked, brother.
Jonathan's thighs are just like
Again, it is a school full of beef.
beef. The beef school.
It's a beefy school.
So we did not date the teacher because we are respectable humans. We did eat a granola bar with him though.
That's
and then,
it.
And then quit.
And then got out. Then we left school. We dropped out.
Gone forever. Butts is like, no, I'm gone. I'm out.
I'm good. I gotta leave. I gotta move.
I have dated the beef that I wanted to date, and now I'm gone.
I got a full course meal of beef.
Oh man. I was kind of bummed that I didn't get to date Caesar because he was there and he was pretty sassy, which is also canon.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I didn't get to date Caesar. Did you have a favorite of the ones that we dated?
I'm trying to remember. Because I think we talked about this.
Mm-hmm.
Probably like Joseph or Jotaro.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, Jotaro is not my favorite Joestar. He's not my favorite JoJo, but I liked his route the best. Just because it was really funny.
Mm-hmm.
And his ocean love was fantastic. But of course I would be like, oh man, look at this guy who's being a complete butthole to me. That said, Josuke was the nicest to us.
Yeah, because Josuke's a good boy.
Josuke is best boy. Josuke is a real good and
Josuke's a good boy. Joseph is just a dummy.
he's a gremlin.
He's a gremlin, yes. Especially young Joseph.
Yes.
And then Jotaro is just very tsundere.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's basically it. And then Jonathan's your teacher, so that. Not literally that because
I mean, it's
yeah.
probably possible in that game.
Probably, but no, thank you. We are respectable students. We don't do that. We fall asleep on roofs and we yell about capitalism, and we go to the aquarium. That's it. I would eventually think it was cool, like if they did an expansion and added like Giorno in here.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be neat, but like also it's like an indie game, and so I'm not expecting that of them.
It'd be a lot of work.
It was a lot of work, and I mean honestly, this game was pretty polished for like being an indie game with like a very small team. Like I was impressed.
Yeah.
Like the writing was fun, and like I said, the sprite art was really well done. Some of the CG art was, but you know, you do your best. They did way better than I would. But yeah, I was just like, heck yes, I get to date some JoJos. Why wouldn't I play this game?
I was like, I will watch you play that game.
Yep. And so you did. Is there anything else we need to talk about with that? I have the official ranking of Otome up if we want to add that to.
I mean, we can.
I mean, we added Colonel Sanders on here.
That is true. I need to pull up the list of Otome as well because I do not have it pulled up. Which means I'm going to find it. Which means I'm going to stall for time while I find it. And pull up the document page.
Document.
In order to try and find this.
The official document.
There we go.
Waiting
Let it load. Alrighty, cue the music. It's time once again for our official ranking of Otome. We have 18 titles on the list. We are going to add number 19 to the list, but we got to find out where it ranks among the 18 we have here today. Mm-hmm. I'm going to ask you a series of questions, and we'll find out where it gets placed on this list. Ow!
Yes.
I don't remember the name of this game.
Joestar struck.
Joestar Struck. Is it better or worse than I Love You, Colonel Sanders, a finger-licking good dating simulator?
It is better.
Well, that's not hard.
Nope.
Is it better or worse than Amnesia?
I'd say it's better.
Better or worse than Hakuoki Kyoto Wins?
I would also say it's better.
Better than Love Letter from Thief X?
I'd say it's better than that too.
I mean, they're not all just trying to bone you immediately, so.
Exactly. They respected me as a person.
Is it better or worse than Psychedelica, The Ashen Hawk?
I'm going to say it's worse than that one.
Okay. So slotting in at number 15.
I mean, that's pretty impressive for like an independent Otome game, you know? Look at this. Look at our listings.
There we go. Top 15 game. And soon we will be adding another title to this list.
We'll have 20 titles on here.
But you're going to have to wait a couple weeks for that to see where the 20th title will be placed on Al's official ranking of Otome.
Oh, man. And I am so ready to talk about some of that story.
Oh, boy.
Oh, it gets wild.
Oh, boy, indeed. Alrighty, well, I think that's going to wrap this episode up then.
Cool.
We talked about some games, we threw them in the grab bag, and now we tossed them on the floor. Now that's where they live.
They live on the floor.
They live on the floor because now they're not in the bag.
Oh, that's fair. They're not.
We
a
took them
surprise
out
to
of the
anybody
bag.
anymore.
It's true. Well, if you would like more from us, go to seasonalanimecheckup.com or sac.cool, where you can find past episodes of this podcast and other podcasts like Seasonal Anime Checkup and Jared and Al Watch. You can also find columns and reviews on the site as well. If you'd like more from Ann Ladium, go to annladium.com. She's got columns and reviews. You could buy our books.
Yeah.
They're on amazon.com. One Shining Moment, a critical analysis of Love, Life, Sunshine, a book we both wrote.
Yep.
And Al's book,
Hot Tubs and Pac-Man.
available now.
Yeah, I've been working
Both
on
of
this
them.
book for ages, and it is finally out.
Big book month.
That one's expensive though, so just be aware.
Yes.
It is an academic book with an academic publisher. And
Yes,
academic publishers like to charge a premium.
There's a steep chasm between the prices of our books.
Yes. But I would still be very thankful if anybody buys my expensive book and reads it, because I did put
A whole lot of work and effort into it.
a lot of time and effort and tears and everything else in the entire universe into that book.
True.
Yeah, I mean, I started that research in 2012, so whew,
It's a long time ago.
long time ago. But the book is out, and I'm washing my hands of it now. I'm not going to read any reviews. I am terrified of that. But you can buy both of our books now.
It's true. Buy them now on Amazon.com. It's a place.
It is a place.
On the internet.
It is.
You can follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/animecheckup. We do Twitter stuff there. And you can support us on Patreon, patreon.com/SACOVA. Buy us a slice of pizza, get access to unedited versions of the podcast, bonus episodes, and just some weird fun stuff all as well.
Mm-hmm.
Next week, it's episode 200 of the Seasonal Anime Checkup OVA.
Biggin.
The 200th time we will talk about something. And we got an interesting episode coming up next week. We're not gonna spill the beans quite yet. You're gonna have to tune in next week to figure that out. But
we have something big planned.
We got something big planned.
Mm-hmm.
Big. I hope you like the 90s.
I love the 90s.
Well, we're not talking about I Love the 90s, the VH1 show.
Oh, darn.
But something related to the 90s.
Correct.
And then,
some of the late 80s, too.
And yeah, some of the late 80s. We have, following that, we'll have 201, which I believe is going to be the JoJo episode about Golden Wind, because I think that'll wrap up around that time. And then 202, we'll probably talk about your Otome.
Pio Fiore.
Yes.
Get to talk about some hot anime mafia boys.
And then maybe after that, we might be able to sneak in some Trails of Cold Steel 4.
Yeah, I mean, if we beat it by then.
That's true. Like, we'll figure that out.
Yeah.
But for now, we got a little bit of a schedule in front of us. It's usually how that goes late in the year.
Yep.
Things start to line up in a nice way for us. But yeah, join us next time for episode number 200.